What's up, everybody? Zach Walker, the Bearded Realtor here, checking in with the Zach Childress. How are you, buddy?
The unbearded realtor.
The goateed.
I'm the goateed
investor.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
All right. Well, we're checking in here for what may be. I'm not gonna, pull the cat completely out of the bag.
I understand. A little teaser.
What may be the beginnings of the Zach and Zach show.
It could be.
I'm not saying that it is.
It depends on what Santa brings, though.
Have you been a good boy?
I've been taking the test and I'm not doing too good. My kids are like 90% good. I'm like 40. Do you have DirecTV?
I don't.
So on DirecTV, they got like this channel that you can go on with your kids and it asks questions and it tells them if they're good or bad.
Really?
And so I take it and they're all like, Dad, Santa's not coming to see you.
He's bringing coal to you, Dad. You're like, well,
I'm like, well, Santa's sleigh's already loaded.
Hey, he's already picked up, packed up,
That's
bags
it.
ready to go.
Bed, good stuff. So, but yes, I am excited about this whole Zach and Zach. I mean, we both come from similar worlds, investing, real estate. You obviously do more on the agent side also with your investing.
Yeah, so
I
now,
don't do any agent stuff.
My background is that I only got my license because I was an investor.
Right.
And I was tired of paying commissions on my
other
own
people.
deals. Right.
Yeah.
And so I got my license, and then I noticed the opportunity as an investor in a marketplace where the real estate companies weren't evolving, weren't changing, weren't innovating, weren't doing things differently, and just saw an opportunity to structure a company in a different way.
Which you did.
Which we did. And so I've had to put the investor hat kind of on the shelf in that sense of the word.
But you're still out there doing it.
Yeah, so we've got a spec that we've just built, and I've got a flip that should be coming on the market in the next 30 days or so. And so we're out there playing with it on the side now, but it's
instead of the primary.
Yeah, but I'm an investor in that I just swapped my investment from a piece of property to a real estate company.
Real estate company. Yeah, and no, I get it. Years ago when I got into investing and did well with it, I realized, oh man, I could do this with businesses too. Where on my world, I never got my real estate license, and I've been investing for 16 years, and I didn't do it because I just saw it different than you. Sure. I looked at it as that was a role that I didn't want to take on, and I wanted to hire a good agent and say, look, you be really good at selling and finding me stuff. I'll be really good at raising money and building teams.
That's right.
And I focused on that, but like any serial entrepreneur, I saw opportunities, which one of them was in the local area helping investors, and that's why we created the Madison County REIA.
Which, if you haven't been a part of that or seen that, that's a really cool organization that Zach started, that we had an opportunity to go.
Well, let's be clear. I started Alabama REIA, which we encompass multiple REIAs in northern Alabama. Madison County REIA, I kind of took over 10 years ago.
Okay.
So just to get that clear.
Just to clarify.
Just to clarify.
I'm not real big on clarification.
That's okay. I'll make up words.
Ambiguity works well for me. But no, it's a really cool organization. If you have any questions about what it takes to become a real estate investor, what it takes to learn that, Zach and his team over there, they do a great job at having local events all over the place that you can get plugged in at.
Absolutely, from beginners,
absolutely,
seasons. It doesn't matter where they are. Our motto is connect, learn, and grow, and that's really what we focus on.
Let's be honest about something while we're talking about beginners, because HGTV will tell you that you can do it, and you can. Don't let those out there listening to us, don't let me discourage you. You certainly can, but you know as well as I do, your money's made when you enter the property, not when you exit. How to enter it, what you need to look for, where those humongous holes are.
And the old saying is you make your money on the buy.
That's right.
But then there's a second side to that I think a lot of people leave out. You make your money when you buy, but you maintain your profit by managing it correctly.
Absolutely.
Right? Because you can say, oh, I'm going to spend $50,000 and I'm going to do this and sell it for X. But I think, and listen, I'm going to touch on that for a minute too. I don't hate on HGTV at all. And the reason
love me some Chip and Joanna.
Right, and the reason is because I think it brings awareness to so many people out there that are struggling financially, and they've got a dead-end job, and they're like, man, I can get into real estate.
Right.
The challenge is, like what you said, is they watch the TV, but they don't come out and get educated. That's where the challenge lies, right? Because they don't know how to find ARV. They don't know how to build their power team. They don't know how to manage contractors. They don't know how to run numbers. And they just think, oh, I'm going to go buy something. I'm going to do a $50,000 budget. But the problem is that $50,000 budget will turn into a $90,000 budget if they're not on it.
I mean, I'm not a beginner.
Yep.
And in a flip that I'm in right now, I'm a little bit dealing with that.
Yep.
So, you know, it's when it's not something you focus on every day,
yep.
and you kind of, it's like riding a bike. You kind of lose that. You got to hop back on that bike. And we made a mistake, and that mistake's going to cost me $7,000. And so it's like, fortunately, because I did know how to find ARV and how to do those, I built in
some hedge.
A ton of hedge because I know how this stuff works.
Yep.
And so at the end of the day, it's not going to kill my exit. I'm still going to make my minimums that I require to get into a flip. But
you covered yourself through the hedge.
But I could have made more if I managed it properly.
Well, and that's
and that's the kicker. That's like,
And that, listen, I can't tell you how many houses I buy when I walk in and they're all, you can tell somebody started the rehab and they ran out of money. And I'm always like, yep, somebody was watching too many TV shows.
Those are harder to do a lot of times.
They are, but you know what? It's like that investor, or I should say wannabe investor, got into it and they're so burned out. The contractor's taking them, they're out of money, payments are due. They're just so stressed, they'll just like take the thing.
Right.
And for me, walking into a property like that's no big deal because I look at everything from a point of view as like, I don't care what it looks like now, I care what it's going to look like when I'm done, and I'm not trying to overbuild a project. Like, what is selling here? This is what we're going to do. And I see it all the time. People come in on their first rehab. They think they're going to move into it. And they're just like, oh, well, I want to add this and put these shutters here and add this faux. Well, I'm like, but there's no house here selling for that. When
the sentence starts with I want or I like,
there you go.
Well, you're in trouble because it's like, unless you're planning on living in this investment property, it doesn't matter what you like. It doesn't matter what you like.
I ran into that with one that I could have made I still made over $100,000 on it, but I could have made more. Got it a super great deal on a subject to. Okay. It was a hoarder house in foreclosure and inherited. Like you couldn't found more stacked pain, right? So I was just like, okay. Took it over. It was a $390,000 house out in Madison. Got the subject to on the loan for like $90,000. Paid her another $15,000 just for moving in the daughter to get where she needed to be. Set a $90,000 budget. This is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna make a killing. Well, at the time, one of my partners, I turned it over to her and said, look, you manage this. We talked about this. Like, I don't really get into the whole managing on the day-to-day stuff. But next thing I know, she turned that project into $90,000 to a $180,000 project. Now, needless to say, we ended up moving in that house.
Is that where you currently reside?
No, she got
that one. Oh, that's so good. The stories that are out, and it's good. Like it's good to hear the stories that have that you can laugh about because a lot of times this is a very real problem. Like people get in to these that don't know what they're doing. They don't have their power teams. They don't do their, and it's not they don't have that option. And before you know it, what was already a bad situation with the subject to and a foreclosure and this and that is now somebody else is in that same issue, and that's what the RE the REIA is out there to do, right?
Yeah,
to protect and inform and
absolutely.
educate, right?
I mean, and we're an association, and there's clubs out there too, just to be clear. And most of the clubs are like driven around like networking, like hey, let's get together, have dinner, talk about real estate. Where we're a little different, we don't really say let's get together and have dinner. We say let's get together and learn. And so because we're an association, we're governed by bylaws and we have code of conduct and ethics just like realtors do. And we are part of what's known as the National REIA, which was founded many circles around the sun ago. And we have a national board and we have a board. And so we're governed in those same ways. And so in our whole process at a true REIA, Real Estate Investors Association, is we have to come in and not say, let's just network. There's networking time, but we have to educate. Right. Because part of our process is to make members more aware of what real estate is, not just a social environment, but here's the things you have to learn to be good at this. And that's our responsibility. Do I encourage people to go to network meetings? Of course. Absolutely. But, they come when they come to us, we have like 1-day classes, 2-day classes, 3-day classes. We have all kinds of stuff. But we're there to make sure they're learning how to be safe and to connect them with the right people. Hence, our slogan is connect, learn, and grow. So
connect, learn, and grow. I like that.
Yep.
I like that. So those of you that are listening out there, hey,
MadisonCountyREa.com.
MadisonCountyREa.com. There it is. So,
but we have something that we're talking about.
I was about to say. So here we are, like 15 minutes in. Let's get on topic. And this is what you can expect from if there is to be a Zack and Zack show. Not saying there is. Not saying there isn't. But if there is, you can expect really the real estate version of, I would say, a Rick and Bubba, where you can talk about anything.
That's
and
right.
It might talk about a little sports, might talk about a little
might
politics.
Talk about how stressed out Santa's going to be over the next couple of weeks.
To be stressed, especially when he's got to deal with your test results from the DirecTV survey. But no, we wanted to kind of here at the end of the year, wanted to approach some topics about what it looks like to. I mean, look, it's the easiest time of the year to eat your fudge and your sausage balls
and to lay back.
Yeah, and look, it's a slow time.
Yeah,
we're gonna be in a slow
there's
time.
Nobody gonna be really looking at houses. There's nobody gonna say. And
I
that's
have
an
4
agent
closings
investor.
tomorrow
there you go.
that says very differently.
Well, and that's what we were talking about. Like, I can't tell you every December, and I look. From years past has always been slow, but I've used the month of December and that first week of January for other purposes to prepare. But man, this December has been absolutely gangbusters, which kind of defeats the whole concept that I had where I was like, I would tell all my students, well, use December to organize.
Plan for the next year.
Right, the quarter. Like, get your quarter planned out next year. Get organized. Look, December... It's the perfect time of year because you got holiday parties, New Year's Eve party to get your networking game back on, right? Mm-hmm. Get out, meet people, shake hands, kiss babies, do all that stuff, right? And I used to always say that, and I still believe that this is the perfect time of year to really rekindle some of those relationships. But I have always said, don't let the holidays put you into this mindset that you don't need to work. Listen, I live with a theory that says every day is a Monday for a hustler.
I like that.
Right? Like every day.
I need to have that like on my wall.
I
could live by that right there. You've just changed my life. You've just changed my life. Hey, every day's a Monday for a hustler. I like that.
Every day's a Monday for a hustler.
I like that, but on the other hand, I'm like, man, I really don't want 7 Mondays.
Yeah.
That sounds terrible.
You gotta take at least one day off.
That's right. Well, I mean, time off for rich people.
Well,
sleep
and look,
when you're
if you
dead.
talk to some of the richest people, they'll tell you, I don't ever take time off.
That's right.
And you know what's really even important about that for whoever's watching this is that it's not about taking time off. It's not about working, because when you do what you love,
you never work a day in your life.
You never work. So people like my friends will say, Zach, you're always doing something. Like what else? But you know what? What I do, I like creating companies. I like growing companies. I like the marketing. I like developing. I like building. That's not work for me. That's a hobby for me.
That's right. It's
fun.
know?
Yeah, like
it's a blast.
When the kids go to bed, man, I'm in my office at home putting some stuff together. I don't watch a lot of TV. So because I may have it on in the other room while I'm in here working, especially if a football game's on, because I got this picture frame at the front door, and if you get the right angle.
Watching the reflection of the picture frame to the TV.
I'm like, oh yeah, he just scored, didn't he?
Yeah.
But it goes back to what we're saying, like December can really sneak up and get some people, because then what happens is the ones that are working through December, they're rocking and rolling coming out the first of the year, where the ones that are now starting to build their momentum.
And that's what I wanted to touch on, was the momentum piece of this. In this business, in what we do for a living, both in the investor side and the agent side, time off, while necessary, has to be structured.
Yep.
Because a pipeline has to stay full. If it doesn't, I experienced this. I do a lot of mission work, and this summer I went down for a couple of weeks to Central America, and I made arrangements to. I spend 4 or 5 weeks a year down there, so it's not abnormal. Awesome. But it was in the middle of we had just started momentum, and we were building as a company, and certainly things were handled for me while I was here, as far as what was existing. But when I got back, I found myself at ground zero again, because I had not continued to fill that pipeline.
The roller coaster.
Exactly.
Yep.
And that's what you have to protect against in December or times like December.
Yeah.
Anytime it's a slow time.
Absolutely.
Is that, well, I'm just going to enjoy my sausage balls and my fudge, and that's great. Do that.
Yeah.
But spend some time every day.
At least an hour or two a day.
Building.
Building into
prospecting, pipelining, building.
And listen, and that's not just an issue in the realty world.
No.
It's the issue in any business that is in the service industry. Realtors are in the service industry. Believe it or not, most people don't realize this, but investors are in the service industry.
Sure.
We're servicing homeowners who need a quick sell. We're servicing buyers who want our inventory. We're servicing landlords who need a place to rent. When you're in that service industry and you're in the lead industry, you have to constantly be pumping that pipeline. For example, I see it over and over and over again with new investors. They will get out, they'll make some phone calls, they'll do a little marketing, they'll build some relationships, and then they'll get a deal. And then they will spend the next 30 days analyzing and working that deal, but not doing any of their prospecting. And then what happens is that deal may not work out. So now they're back, like you said.
Square one,
and they got to start. I'm like, never. People say, Zach, what's two things that you always do? Two things I always do, no matter what business I have, is marketing and raising money.
Yes.
It's two things I always do. Always. I'm always figuring out, how can I market better? How can I get more leads? How can I get higher quality leads? And how can I keep raising money? Because the more money I raise, the more deals I can use without my money. The more money I raise, the more companies I can grow or buy more companies. Because, you know, I own multiple companies from all different niches. And it's beautiful when you can flip a company like you can flip a house, and the profits are just much bigger.
Significantly higher. And that's so true. It's like, I just see people that just don't understand that piece of it. And it's hard to tell somebody when they're working on their first deal, like, I know this is the most exciting thing that you've got going, but if you don't do this, this, and this,
it's gonna go away.
You will find yourself back where you were a month ago, banging your head against the wall, wondering where your first deal was.
Well,
there's just nothing to do about it.
It's the emotion.
Oh, it's all emotion.
It is.
If you want to be successful in this game or any game,
get out of the emotion.
The emotion business is gone. You know what gets you in trouble in a flip?
What's that?
That emotion. You know why?
Why?
Because you're like, I like.
I
want.
I like.
And it's like that is an emotional based response.
Yep.
Let's not be emotional.
Well, and also in business, because here's why. And I'm sure new agents deal with this too. But in an investor mindset, so they've got the idea, I'm going to invest. So then they say, okay, where do I start? They read a book, they go to a seminar, they find their local REIA, they start learning, and then they start putting time in. And it takes time to build a foundation, but that time then they start getting frustrated, right? Because they're like, well, I haven't found a deal yet, or I haven't got my first listing yet, or I haven't sold my first house. And so now the frustration builds in. Not just the frustration, but the anticipation of it either not working or working starts to cloud their thinking. So then when they find something, it's like, this is it. This is it. And I'm sure, like, even agents listing a property, they get somebody who wants to come out and look at their house. They're like, I'm going to get a listing. And then that seller could say, well, I want 225. And that agent could be like, well, it's only worth 185. But they'll then do the listing just because it's emotional, right? Well, I just want to get it. And that's the same thing that new investors face in the investing world is, even if, and I tell them all the time, look, when you're in a situation of anticipation and anxiety, you will make bad choices.
Every time.
Bad choices.
Every time.
So then I can try to make it logical for them. I'm like, look, they're like, yeah, but I just spent the last month and didn't find a deal. Okay, let's be logical about this. How many deals do you need to do to subsidize your income? Like my average flips in this area range around $20,000 in profits. I don't do the big houses. We just get in and out of the. We like to stay kind of in that 150 to 225 range, that medium type home price.
Sure.
I know over in Huntsville we're at 180. I don't know. What are you guys here?
It's about 180-ish. Yeah.
So I like to play in that world because that's where the majority of the buyers
Numbers never lie.
That's right. And I can do more of them quicker, and our average profits are around 20,000. Well, the problem is that new investor jumps into that and they get anticipated, they get anxiety, they didn't find a deal that month. And so I'm like, okay, if you did 4 deals a year, that's an extra $80,000 a year income. What are you making right now? Well, not that. Okay, so would that be good? Yeah. So that means you need to find 1 deal per quarter.
Right.
Not 1 a month. So don't get down on yourself. Don't get aggravated that you're not finding one. Just be logical about it and say, if I find one deal a quarter, I find it, fix it, and sell it, or wholesale it, then I'm doing good.
Absolutely.
And now you're building momentum. You've got process. You're securing yourself.
I had a mentor once. I love golf, but at this point in my life, I had just started playing golf. I'm not a patient man, okay? Right. And so golf was not a sport that was built for me.
It's like me and fishing.
And I expected to just go out and be freaking Tiger Woods. Like, you know, I'm like, well, I'm an athlete. Like, I've been good at everything.
I'm gonna hit this ball.
I can do this. Like, why did I birdie that hole?
Right,
I got a 12, you know? And it's like, my mentor looked at me, he's like, hey man, you play every hole as if it's a par 4, play it like a par 5. He was like, as a golfer, you're not a par golfer. True. He's like, so in order for you to get there, learn how to be a bogey golfer. Learn how to get a 5 on every 4, a 4 on every 3.
Takes the pressure off.
It takes the pressure off. And what happened? I find myself not trying to go for the green in 2 and not trying to make And what happens was through that process, by changing your expectations, you get better at the game.
Right.
It was that metaphor, I didn't know it at the time, translated into business in the last 12 months for me. Because it's like, I expect to be, like you said, I want to deal every day.
Right.
And it's like, as you kind of change those expectations, you realize, wow, I'm actually doing really well.
Yeah.
Where our company's growing, and
you guys are doing really well.
And so that's huge. I love that piece of advice because it's all about expectation.
It is, and oh man, you couldn't have said that any better. It is about expectation, and a lot of times, especially inspiring entrepreneurs, mine was too back then. Our expectation is very high of ourselves, right? Like we see
I'm going to be Marcus Lemonis tomorrow.
Right, but we also see like the fake lifestyles on Facebook, right?
Man.
Like we see like people posting pictures of this, and this, and this. And here's the reality. They don't close all those deals. But then the new person sees that and they're like, well, I'm not finding a deal every week. Yeah. And the reality is you don't have to. Take that level of pressure off of you and be logical about it. And you had a key point that you said, a mentor. I've had mentors. Oh, I hit my mic, sorry.
Beatbox.
I've had mentors. I still have mentors in my life. And I believe wholeheartedly in mentors. The investment in yourself will yield you more returns than any stock, bond, real estate, or anything. And a lot of people don't understand that, Zach, because I feel weird about this.
It's weird, yeah. It's like, Zach, what am I saying?
It's like that. Are you talking to yourself in third person?
Oh, this is going to be so much fun. No, but it's well, you know, what you said though, like, and I've been fortunate, and I know you have because we've talked about this, like, people that were once my mentors are now my business partners.
Oh, right.
And you talk about one of the most rewarding things for someone to invest in you and believe in you and train you up and raise you up to a point where they view you as a peer.
Yeah.
And want to be in business with you. And that to me, like, they're still my mentor. And there's a reason why we're in business together, because I trust them implicitly.
Well, because they led you in the right way.
They got me here.
That's
right. So why would I not trust them to take me to the next step?
And they will. That's
Absolutely,
the thing. They will. And I tell this to people all the time. I wrote a new book. I've got lots of books, but I wrote a new one I'm launching in January.
Many leather-bound books.
No, mine are all paperback. But they're easy reads, like 100 pages.
I love it.
But I got a new book coming out in January. I'm actually giving everybody who comes to the meeting in January a copy of it. But it's called The 24 Mistakes New Investors Make.
Okay.
And inside there, I talk about this concept of like who we listen to, right? And the reason that I think it's so important to find mentors that have time, like that have length, is because they have seen so many different market cycles that they can guide you through a process that you would never have seen on your own, or connecting with someone who's only done it a couple of years, right?
Sure.
And I say it all the time to people, look, anybody in this market can go out and make money in this market.
Sure.
Like, it's an easy market, but where were they 10 years ago, right? When we were losing 70% of the investors. Right. Because they didn't know how to change and shift through a market cycle. But my mentors, I always say, I want somebody that has at least 10 years or more in the industry, because here's why. When I get to 10 years, now they got 20.
Right.
They're always a decade ahead of me. You know what I mean? And I can keep learning from them. Like, even in this market, the people that I've coached, like we were saying, now I'm in business with them. right? I have companies with them. We do real estate together because, you know, you don't partner with everybody like I've coached, because some of them you just don't find the drive in them. You know, and I tell people all the time, like,
look, not everybody's a winner. I mean, that's the bottom line.
Well, and to them, they might be a winner because their goal might to just be 1 or 2 deals a year.
Sure.
My goal is not 1 or 2 deals a year. My goal is 100 deals a year. Like, I want to be doing consistently 100 deals a year, and I don't do them all here because I invest all over it: Texas, California, Florida, Tennessee, Georgia. But that's always been my goal. And what I do know, and this is a very important topic too, is I can't do it alone.
Fact.
Can't do it alone. And people say, well, Zach, like, you've got all these companies and you're doing so well. Yeah, but I'm the dumbest person in my company.
Every time. Every time.
I'm the high school dropout.
I didn't get where I'm at by being the smartest guy. I got where I'm at by knowing.
That's right.
Who was.
That's right.
And finding them
on my team.
Them on my team. That's exactly right. I tell people that all the time because it's the same way. They're like, oh man, this real estate company's growing like gangbusters. And it's like, first of all, I was fortunate to have the idea of found the company, start this thing.
Yep.
But it is not where it is because of me.
True.
It's because of partners like Tim Knox and Brandon Sanford and Holly and our whole team of people that has got us to where we're at. And again, I'm the dumbest guy on the team.
Yeah.
I'm just the one who's willing to drop my head and run through that wall right there.
And you know what?
See what's on the other side.
You know what's so funny you say that? My mascot is the rhinoceros.
I love it.
I've got them on my desk when I shoot videos, on my
saw
shelves.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Tim was in my office yesterday, and he said, "What's the rhino for?" I said, "Because that's my life."
That's my spirit animal.
Right. You see that, huh? What do you mean a donkey? What am I a donkey? That's your spirit animal. That was a funny movie.
That's a great movie.
But it's the rhino because of what you just said. The rhino, when he wants to get from here to there, he doesn't care what's in front of him. He's going to put his head down and get through it. And I've said it over and over what you said. I'm where I am because of the people around me. Like when I came up with the idea of Alabama REIA, was the purpose of Alabama REIA is because I wanted to build a platform in the whole state of Alabama that was following the same curriculum, the same education, the same systems, and the same, you know, the ethics and codes, and so that people weren't getting confused running around, oh, well, so-and-so said this, so-and-so, you know, like keep it in sync. So, you know, we're fortunate that we're going to have several of them in northern Alabama. That's awesome. Talking to somebody in Montgomery. We're looking to roll one out one in Mobile.
Okay.
So we're just going to take that. And that's not because of me. That's because of people that are surrounding me, like Jill and Keith and Rachel and Donnie. Those guys are great at what they do. They just know that I've built the brand. I have the training. I have the education. I know how to take it. And they're like, I want to be part of this.
That's awesome. Again, if you're just joining us, Zach Walker, the Bearded Realtor, Zach Childress with the Alabama Madison County REIA, the REIA. He is the REIA man. But we're sitting here talking about just pretty much everything. But I wanted to touch on something that you said a minute ago. You said the fake life on social media, and that hit me. I've got a term for those people.
What?
I call them $30,000 millionaires. They're the folks. They're the folks that they get out there. They make $30,000 a year. But if you didn't know it, you think, man, they're freaking millionaires.
We call them hallway gurus
or keyboard commandos. Right. Yeah. I mean, see, these people.
They've been doing it a couple of years.
Oh, and they think they're doing it.
Oh,
and when you really dive into it, they've not done. They've not. And I was that guy at one point in my life because if you're like us, at some point early on, you got to fake it till you make it. So I tip my cap to that guy to a certain extent, but there's also a level of transparency and truth.
Well,
and the thing that got me here is being able to accept my failure, accept the fact, like I'm gonna fake it till I make it all the time because that's what salespeople do. But there comes a point where you have to accept who you are, where you're at, where your shortfalls are, and what you have to do to move forward. And it's typically, like you said, finding someone who can fill those voids for you and make a power team.
With time.
And so it just, when you said that, I was like, man.
Well, and that's a good point because here's the way I look at it. For example, I was investing for, let's see, for at least 4, if not 5 years before I ever started teaching.
Well, yeah.
But, you know, like I didn't just go out and say, oh, now let me teach. And the reason is because I had a responsibility. Like if someone was going to pay me to listen to me, I better make sure I'm leading them in the
right
way, right? But what kills me is you get some people that, like you said, been doing it. We call them hallway gurus. They've been doing it a couple of years. Now they want to go start teaching everybody. The challenge with that is that they haven't done it enough.
Let me tell you how I did one deal a year for the last 3 years.
Right. Like, or I'm doing 2 a month right now, but they're buying $15,000 houses. And okay, well, I could buy 10, 20 of those a week. Yeah. You know what I mean? But here's the other thing. And if you really think about it, in the real estate side, it's probably a little different than the agent side. We're teaching people how they can become financially free. Right. Not like, hey, here's how you can make $100,000 a year or 200, but here's how you can really set yourself up to be financially free, making passively $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a month. And through that model, we have to really get clear and understand that that comes with a series of events and education, and you have to stay in line with that and not get advice from the wrong person. And that's where I have a problem with it, is not that someone wants to share, but they don't have enough history to share how to lead somebody down.
What are you sharing?
Right, and if you're teaching somebody how to become financially free, where are you at? Not you, but where that person is. Right? Like, do you still have a mortgage on your house? Do you still have debt? Like, you haven't gotten there yourself. Like, how can you teach somebody? Like, I really didn't start sharing that message with people until, like, I wrote a check to pay my house off, wrote a check to pay my debt off, wrote a check to buy, like, when I became like...
When you were living what you were preaching,
right,
you could then preach it.
Yeah, like when somebody would say...
But what you're saying, just to be clear, is called common sense, and it's not so common anymore. But like, I am not gonna sign up if I'm in college. Like, I'm not gonna go to a biology class with someone who knows
still
nothing.
In high school.
Yeah, that's right. Like, it just and so it's what's shameful is the fact that we even have to address that because we do. But it's like,
you guys probably deal with it in the agent side too.
Oh my gosh.
Like, you got some hotshot that came out, he sold 50 houses this year, he's 1 year out, and he's like, oh, well, now I'm going to go open a brokerage and teach everybody how to do it.
Well, I guess I might be that hotshot.
Well, I don't know, but you're a little
different. Yeah. I've never done any real estate whatsoever, and I said...
But you came from a world of investing into this world, so that's your history.
I didn't go to a brokerage, let them teach me things, and I came straight out of getting my license and said, I'm going to do it my way or I won't do it at all.
Right.
And so it's a little different, but no, it just...
And I'm talking about the guy that was working at Best Buy.
Yes.
God is like, knows nothing about real estate.
Part-time licensed guy,
now he wants to go teach agents how to be agents.
They're out there.
I know they are.
Well,
I see it.
Our team is growing so fast at Revolved because of a lot of that. You come out of the real estate classes and you get your license, and no different than what you've been talking about on the investor side, right? They get this first deal, it's that emotional process, and then very quickly they find out, like, whoa, this is not what not what I was sold here. Like, you mean you're gonna split? Like, you're gonna take how much of what and I've got to pay what for and what, and then it's like they see what we're doing, and they're like, wait a minute, you pay for our E&O insurance, and you pay for our cards, and you pay for our signs, you pay for our lock boxes, like, you take care of your agents. Oh, and your splits are transparent, and it's like we're growing like gangbusters.
And you will keep growing.
Well, because we put, the difference in us and everybody else, in my opinion, is like, it's client first, agent second, brokerage third.
Right.
And that's just the truth.
Everywhere else, it's brokerage
That's
first.
just the truth about what we do. And we believe that by doing it that way, while one, it's less profitable for the brokerage in the short term.
But you will go wide.
Correct.
And
so we want to.
I got a building for you in Huntsville when you're ready for your third location.
Well, we'll talk about that when we turn this camera off, big dog, because I'm ready. No, we want to go. We want to go 12 locations in the next 24 months. And do it not just in the state of Alabama.
Go up in Tennessee. And
I've had opportunities to go to 3 different states in the last probably 6 weeks that I've turned down because. And listen, if you're out there taking notes, smart growth, not fast growth.
Oh,
smart growth.
Good one. Yeah,
all about smart growth. Because I could have said yes. I could have thrown Revolve Real Estates up in Raleigh, North Carolina, Atlanta, and Nashville, and probably watch them fall flat on their face because we are not
stretched too thin,
big enough and strong enough to
do what
we want to do. And so so we're getting there. Those options, those opportunities aren't going away.
Right.
It's not a no. It's a not now.
It's a
and so that's
and that's got to be comforting for that partner, that
absolutely.
wants to do that, because they're like, okay, well, he's not just throwing me out there. He's saying, look, let us make sure we can support you.
Let's do it the right way, and let's do it once.
Yeah, but you guys have come out of left field, man, and really put a dent in this market, and I think it's freaking awesome. I really do. I mean, everywhere I turn, it's like
It's really fun to sneak up on people.
I love it.
It's like, and I tell people this all the time. When I had the idea, it tickles me a little bit. When I had the idea, everybody's like, "Oh, that's cute, cute idea."
Oh, there's a whole bunch of them.
Little pat on the butt. Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
And then it's like 14 months later, they're like, "Holy." Right. Because we literally did. I mean, for the first 8 months of this business, I did 0 deals. I was that investor you're talking about that was banging my head against the wall, trying to figure out where they didn't know us, they didn't know even though what we offered was great, they didn't trust you, and literally it went from 0 deals to we closed 14 in our 9th month, and it has not checked up since then. And so for us, it was that water faucet moment where it's like, dry. And I mean, I was at the point where I was seriously, I don't like to admit it, but I was at that point where I was like,
we all have
maybe I've missed this. Maybe I'm wrong about what my idea is.
The confusion.
And then it was just like, boom.
And then it just broke. You know what? That's funny. I say it all the time in business because I consult in business too. And usually when I'm coming in, it's a company they know they have the potential for growth, but they're stagnant or they're actually heading the wrong direction. And I always say, I'm like, look, right when you think you're about to be done, something will break if you stay in it.
It's all about persistence.
It is.
I mean, exactly. When you do what we do, which is we believe in ourselves.
Yep.
And ourselves pretty much, that's where our faith in God and then our belief in ourselves.
That's very true.
And so when that's the case, because I'm 31 and I just finally have put my stamp on the one, if you will.
Right.
How many ideas have I had? How many companies have I created? How many times have I tried? And for me to think that for 8 months, within 8 months, I was ready to fold it up and go home. It's like, come on, man. Who was that guy? Who was that guy sitting behind the desk? Because the 31-year-old that's been doing, that's literally lost his tail on different adventures along the way. It's just so rewarding when you truly believe in what you have and your process, your people, and your product.
Yeah.
That what you can do when it's bigger than a transaction, when it's bigger than a house, what you're doing, you're not investing in houses, you're not flipping houses, you're investing in people. You're growing,
building culture.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the key for anyone in any business. It's not just real estate.
Yeah.
It's any business.
When you create an environment where people can make money and come and say, look, I'm making money, but I'm part of something bigger here.
Well, and they believe in what they're doing. That's the big thing. Yeah. Like, how many people with that 8 to 5 really believe? And they're out there, don't get me wrong, great companies all over the place. But
I see it firsthand because I also have an information company. And like, you can tell the people who work in our information company, the ones that are like, I see the bigger vision. I see the people that are getting this training and writing in testimonials and how they've done this and this. Are we going to have some people that don't like us? Absolutely. A mentor of mine told me a long time ago, he said, Zach, if you're afraid of what people are going to say about you, then don't put your voice out there.
Yep.
He's like, just don't do it. Just don't do it.
I know it.
Right, because there's going to be somebody that doesn't like you or what you have to say. Like on one of my shows, I always say, I'm the real estate coach. Ugh. Like, that just made people angry.
You've seen our marketing. Don't pay 3% for a sign in your yard. Right. Hello, hatred.
But that's the polarization that makes marketing great.
It's also true.
It is true for you guys. Yeah, absolutely.
So,
it's true. But go back to culture. So if you're out there and you're building a brand of your face or who you are, an agent or investor, and you're going to start putting team around you, which you'll have to. You have to. You've got to make sure that they're not just coming in for a paycheck, but they're seeing where you're going. So that brings me to a topic I wrote down. And this just segued right into that.
This is going to be the first 3-hour-long real estate show on Facebook, and this is what you can come to expect from these. We might have to take a water break,
take a pee break. But talking about
outreach.
culture. When you're bringing a team of people together and creating culture, what's the bigger purpose of making money, right? Help, serve. But what about your community? Like, what are you doing for an outreach? Like you were talking about what you guys do. Like with us at the REIA, we do a lot of outreach. You know, like we just did our Toys for Tot drive.
Sure.
And we do it with the House of Harvest up in Harvest. And, you know, it's an amazing operation. And we get to support them every year and do that. We're teaming up next year with Habitat for Humanity and doing stuff with them. We're going to be doing more stuff with the church. Like, so our whole motto is local investors teaching local investors. And so from the side of that is, you know, we're local companies helping local people is our outreach. And I know you had said that you guys are doing
Yeah,
something.
well, and what I was doing before I did this, the real estate, the company that I was working with, we were in the south side of Chicago.
Yep.
We're buying blocks, city blocks at a time, and turning Section 8 housing into granite countertop Section 8 housing the model was incredible.
You were living there?
No.
Okay.
I lived in Dallas, and I basically lived in a hotel there.
Yeah.
But it was cool to watch a community rally around what typically would have been perceived as the bad guys, you know, the money guys coming in and buying everything up. And it wasn't always a home run because of certain challenges I'm sure you understand.
Yeah.
But to watch the community, and that's, you know, that's our thing here, is like we want to be in our community making a difference. When I flip a house, when I buy a house, when I just put my sign in a yard and sell a house, well, my wife and my partner Tim both tell me that I run my business like a charity because I just love being able to do that. I really truly created this for the community to have a better opportunity to keep some of their equity in their pocket. And for us, like our specific model is our outreach. We also do some specific outreach.
And I think that's how you can rally people.
You have to.
You know, when you can say, look, we're here, like for you guys, your USP is we want to help the community and people save money. Right, we want to help them save so that they can put more money in their pocket to help with school, college, the new
down
house,
payment on the next house, whatever.
Like to help them, but at the same time, we're also doing this in the community. That's the same way we are at Huntsville House Buyer and MadisonCountyREIA.com. We're the same way. Like, hey, we're doing this, but here's how the other reasons. We're not just doing it to put all the money in Hip National Bank pocket. We're here to say, look, let's give some back out to the charity. And the other thing that I think is an important message is when you have someone like you and someone like me that is building a team around us and we have influence and, you know, we have people that see our vision, it almost is our responsibility to take those people and say, look, let's all come together for a big cause here and there.
Absolutely.
You know, not every
common vision, common, you know, have you seen the movie Boiler Room?
Of course.
Okay, I figured that was a kid. So
I watched it the other day.
When I started in the sales, what a good movie. When I started in this business, I literally worked in the boiler room. Raising money on the phone.
Okay.
Couldn't use the bathroom on our floor until I had closed deals. I had to ride the elevator down and pee downstairs in the peasant's bathroom. But
it's very driven that way.
Yeah, well, it is. But they used to say one thing that was and I use it to this day: motion creates emotion, right? Momentum creates momentum. And as you capitalize on your momentum as a team, as a power team, as a REIA, as a HuntsvilleHouseBuyer.com, as your teams are all starting to grow together, everybody's making money, that momentum creates momentum.
Yes.
That motion creates emotion. And what you're saying is the best way to rally the people around you is take that momentum and what it creates and point it right back at the people that you're trying to work with and serve.
That's right.
And that's the biggest key is, you know, we're all local people.
Yeah.
Like I am the literal essence of the small business owner here in small town America.
Here.
Right. And so
here.
Well, we left when I was young. But we came back.
I did the same thing. I was born here, but do you know where Bluntsville, Alabama is?
I've heard of it. I think I could find it on a map.
Not what everybody says.
I think I could find it on a map.
You gotta look real close.
Yeah, you gotta zoom in. Like.
I was born here, moved to Blunsville, but then we moved away. But then I came back too. So
it just
home.
Yeah, and it is, and that's what I love about Athens. It's what I love about Huntsville. It's what I love about this North Alabama area is that it's still Mayberry in a little bit of a way.
Oh, I'll tell you a funny one. We got time for a funny one?
Well, I mean, considering it's just the two of us, we got nothing but time. There's nobody watching right now because they've already...
I don't know. I think your neighbor's peeking it. No.
They could hear us from over there. So
when I moved and went out to California, that was where I kind of got into business and started doing everything. But man, I lived in Northern California, San Francisco area, and it was tough. Like people are just different.
They'll literally cut your throat for a deal.
They're just different. I mean, let's take real estate out of it. They're just different human beings to human beings, right?
Oh yeah.
Like and I'll just give you an example. Let's say you went to well, they don't have Hardee's there. They have Juniors. So let's say you went to a Juniors, and you got some fries and a cheeseburger, and they'd hand it to you, and you'd say, "Oh well, can I get some napkins and a ketchup?" Oh, here. Right. And you're like, "Oh, geez, thanks." And I remember when we were moving back and we were driving, and we had gotten, I don't know, I think maybe Mississippi, close to Alabama, and we pulled in to grab a burger and a fry. And when we got to the window, the lady goes, "Would you like some napkins and ketchup with that, sir?" And I went, "We're home."
That's right. It's like when they call you sweetie and baby,
I was like, "We're home."
You know you've made it back to the South, and so man, it's such a unique market. It's such a unique area. The people, the everything about what we've got here is beautiful.
It really is.
And so
and how we're growing right now.
Oh,
that should
man.
be something we talk about on another show. It's just like
because I don't care what the federal, national, whatever economy does. We are in a bubble here.
Okay,
in North Alabama.
let's talk about that on another one.
Okay, because we'll spend another 30
minutes. I
on
can
that.
go on. Because I look at data nationally, and then I look at data locally, and we are definitely in our own world here.
Definitely, in many ways, but
and see that's a cliffhanger. You see that
cliffhanger? We're going to leave.
There's over 140 markets that are crashing right now.
You heard it here first, folks. You heard it here first on the Zack and Zack Show. Look, guys, we appreciate you guys. Whoever's still tuned in, all two of you, we appreciate.
We've only been here like 45 minutes.
I'm trying to squint at the camera, but the timer just stopped working. It just said too long up top. But no, it's been a blast, and we look forward to bringing you some more great content.
Yes.
Clearly, this is something that we're both very passionate about.
Yes.
We enjoy it, and we also like to just have fun. So if you have any comments, questions, whatever, you can reach Zack at MadisonCountyREA.com, HuntsvilleHouseBuyers.com, on Facebook here. And obviously, you know how to get a hold of us, 808-8070. If there's anything we can do for you, don't hesitate to reach out. But I know it's going to be tough. Don't hold your breath for the next one, but stay excited for it because it's coming. This has been a blast. So, what do you have for the people? What's your? Give me a sign-off line. Stay classy, San Diego.
Oh, this is the Zack and Zack Network, and we'll be back. When we come back, be ready. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Zack and Zack, we'll be back.
We'll be back. We'll be back.